Anja, so nice to have you here. Let's see, I'm excited to chat and just quickly, obviously, I know you well. We've known each other for a long time, but you live in the Netherlands. You are originally from Germany. You've got one little boy and a second girl on the way,
Yep.
right?
Second one is on the way. Yes.
How many months now?
Well, we have, I think, 3 more to go. So like I'm already approaching 28 weeks. So it's kind of almost around the corner, but it doesn't feel like it. It just feels like normal life. So yeah.
Yeah. Are you ready?
Yeah, I think we're ready. We have not bought anything yet for her, but it will also come.
But you still have, like, you kept things?
You know what? We did not really keep things.
No?
No. We were not like, okay, we just put actually.
I kept everything.
We did not keep anything. And we're just like changing it and giving it away and stuff. And then when we kept the things we want to keep for our son Azan as a memory.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this is in a box, but then the rest is kind of out there in the world with other kids.
So you like, for me, I kept it because I knew I wanted to have more than one child. Like, now I'm gonna keep everything, almost everything. But even until now, like just last weekend, we went to the flea market and I saw so many things, and there was literally like hardly anything new that I bought for Liam. Everything was Luca's old things. So I kept everything. So like, were you wanting, thinking, planning to have more than one child, or did that just kind of happen?
I think like we always thought about a second child would be really great, and then even before we talked about having one child. So I mean, we met. I'm already turning 40, so we met when I was already a little bit older. So then it's of course like, yeah, okay, if we want to have kids, then let's start. But once we had our son, I have to say the first year was very rough. So then we're like, oh my God, this is not going to happen again. And I guess once everything was getting calmer, and then we also thought, okay, it's actually, I actually think like you have to, I have to say that if I think of everything is going, I have to go through everything again, then I'm like, okay, because now he's sleeping well, everything is so nice and relaxed, except screaming attacks, of course, but then it's like we also thought, no, you have to, it would be so nice to have that he has a brother or a sister, and because siblings are, it's a different kind of relation. So I have it with my sister, and we really wanted this also for Azan. And then it's like you take yourself back, and if you have the magic that it happens again, then I think it will be really nice. And now I really feel ready. I'm like, okay, let's do it.
Done it. Can do it again.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely those sleepless nights and going back to that is rough. Like for me, because I've always wanted to have more than one, but it didn't happen for a long time. So I always wanted to have a short gap, because my brother and I, we have 4.5 years, which now also Liam and Lucas have 4.5 years. And I didn't want that because I'm not so close to my brother. Probably not necessarily even the age gap, it's just personality wise, we're very different. Anyway, so I thought, like when I hope the wind is not too bad now. When they're little, like it's nice, they're close together, they can play together, but it just didn't happen. But literally when it happened, and that was at a time where I kind of had let go of the idea of having more than one. So I wasn't quite ready. I was like, okay, I now thought we'll just have that beautiful life, with like just one child. Everything was getting easier because Lucas was then was 5. So that, like, the sleeping was much improved. He was much more independent, and gosh, now I have to go back to baby stage. That was rough. And now, I mean, because they're quite the age difference is quite a few years. There's only now that Liam is almost 3 that they're actually starting to play together. So it's it hasn't been that easy, and not as easy as I thought. Like naturally I would think, they will love each other, and then you see maybe that's even easier when it's a boy and a girl, because I know quite a few moms with boys and girls, and the girls seem to be so caring for their little brothers and
that's
so
good to hear.
And the other way around as well. The big brother's so sweet about the little girls, but my two are just, if they could just kill each other every day, they would do that, you know. So it's literally like sometimes I'm sitting there like, hey guys, you're supposed to love each other. What's happening here? But then I know as well it's pretty normal too. But sometimes it's really like, oh, this is not how I thought it would be. So hopefully you don't have that. You tell me in a few years how that is.
So I hope that it will be, let's see how it's gonna go. We hope that
I hope that
Azam will take care of her nicely, and she's excited to meet her brother. Let's see, it will be very interesting.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, I'm curious to know, in terms of having two, you think you're going to do something different? Because obviously we learn something and we realize something when we have one, and we want to be that certain kind of mother, and then maybe we're not quite that certain kind. What do you think? What's going on for you?
Yeah, and actually, if I think about it, then I'm like really excited to kind of see. I mean, of course, the first child, you went through a lot of personal change and a lot of change anyways. So I'm also kind of excited. I always thought, oh God, how do parents do it with two children? I was just with Azan on the playground. I'm like, I have no idea how they do it. Now we're approaching this phase very soon, and I'm kind of like really excited to see how I will actually be, or my husband and myself, in like being parents of two, and how everything will happen. What I really learned is that or what I would like to take into this whole transition, that I totally know everything is just going to be crazy again, and it's okay, and you just go with the flow. And hopefully I can like always think of this in the back of my head, like, okay, now two kids are screaming, everything is crazy, but you're going to be okay. And this is, I think, and you know already things, so it doesn't scare me out. I think therefore we are also like really not prepared at this moment, because I already know, okay, when we approach July or August, you know, I can just get the stuff I need, and that's it. And then let's just of course hope that everything is going well, and then just enjoy, and then see how what it will make with me. So I'm actually also kind of excited to see what's happening. And in regards to I think what I learned with Azan a lot was this whole energy balance. So how to really manage your day, and really see, no, I need support, or I need time off just to refill my energy and not go to the extreme. And I think this will be something I will probably balance hopefully quicker, and put the two kids to my husband, and I need time off, and to just so I think this will come more quicker, and but I'm actually really looking forward how it will be.
I love that. Exactly. Let's see, go with the flow. And also, as a first-time parent, we end up buying so much stuff, because we're like, oh my God, I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. And then at the end of the day, half of the things you don't really need. And I mean, the amount of clothes I had also, like, had gifted. And then, you know, like these cute little, I remember there was this cute little trousers and a tiny shirt. It looked so adorable. I wasn't able to put it on. It was just like, how are the arms supposed to go in this tight shirt? Like, I'm gonna rip off his arms if I put this on. Like, useless. Like, you know, the simple little onesie thing, perfect. But as a first parent, it's just,
absolutely.
Oh, I want this, I want that. So definitely with the second one, more like practical, and really what you need, and that's it, isn't it?
No, I think we missed in a lot of clothes to put even on, like as even from friends and the parents, because we're like, oh God, we should have put it now. And
exactly, now it should fit,
now
and then
we've grown out of it already.
Exactly. So it's just crazy. But transition, too, from one to two. And then I know obviously you've always been very career focused and driven. And I know you still work with Azan. So in the Netherlands, how much maternity leave do you get?
Yeah, so that's the interesting part. We have in total for everything 16 weeks. So we don't even talk
that's
about
not a lot.
We're not even talking in months.
That's interesting. I didn't even check it or anything, didn't even think about it, because obviously Germany has a good amount, the UK has a good amount, and then I know like places like Scandinavia are amazing and all that. I would have thought that in the Netherlands you get proper maternity leave. Okay, so that's very short.
That is very short. That is very short. I think with Azan, I was really like, oh my God, how are we gonna handle this? Especially knowing what you have in Germany. So I was really like, wow. I was even happy he was kind of even 2 weeks late. So I got 2 more weeks longer. So to adapt to everything. But I mean, in general, in the Netherlands, their very work-life balance is really great, and everyone is really looking like at work, that you have your time off, and if your kid is sick, it's not a problem. So everything is actually really family focused here. But I actually have no idea how this came up that you only have 16 weeks. I mean, now seeing it, I think, and also with the first child, for me, it was like, okay, 6-7 months, because and then a slow transition back to work is also fine. I think it's a good amount. But yeah, 16 weeks is a lot. I mean, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot to take, like to manage, to handle. I mean, yeah, we had in Mauritius, you have, I might be lying now, about 12 weeks or so. So it was like roughly 3 months. And I was supposed to go back to work, and I was always like, gosh, how will I do that? Because in the UK, I had 1 full year with Lucas.
Yeah.
So I was really like, I don't know, how can I do that? Okay, with Lucas, I was very like focused on the breastfeeding, which just didn't happen at all with Liam. So I didn't have that worry of like, how will I breastfeed at work and all. But then I didn't go back anyway, because it just didn't work out with, like, I was being made redundant, so there was no job to go back to. But I always like was like, how will I do that? Because I mean, luckily I have family here, so grandma could have looked after little Liam. But for you, that means then daycare, I guess.
Yeah, so I mean, what we did with Azan, so that's also something I really liked, also like how my husband Rehan and myself like just handled being parents. We registered him for daycare, and we were actually very lucky to find a really nice one. Was the first one I actually looked at. And then we had him 2 weeks in daycare. We were also excited about it, like, wow. And I'm positive about I was positive about daycare, even though he was then 3.5 months or something.
Yeah.
And then it just didn't work out. So the first week was a struggle with no sleeping there. He, of course, then he was super tired. He just cried. Of course, we just had him there for 3-4 hours because of it. I mean, that's also in the Netherlands. You have a transition phase of you give him for 1 day, 1 hour, next day 2 hours, and then boom, you're in the daycare. So it's so different. It's so funny. And and then we realized the second week also. In the beginning, we were like, man, I don't think we can do it, and maybe it's just not the right thing for Azana. He was also an intense child, so we were talking about 3 months of screaming a lot. So also with the whole pain in the evening in his belly. So we had really extreme 3 months. So so we were like, but then we made a very quick decision. We had already a nanny, which and she was off for the summer holidays. And then we talked to our daycare. We talked to her, hey, we would like to have her. This was also heavy Corona times. We had her 3 months in our house, 3 days. And this was amazing. And I still appreciate our daycare, that she was like, yeah, maybe it is not for Azan right now. Take him out. And it was no problem. And the nanny was there, and we were working from home. And so we had him there, and it was very super nice. And then actually from 8 months, he went to daycare. 2 months were still challenging, but then since then he loved it. So that's also something what I see with the whole kids thing. Yeah, I mean, you also see it with your life decisions, but if you see something is not working, just not push it or keep hold on to it, but find a different solution that also you de-stress. So because I cannot go to daycare, bring him, and I know it's not going to be a good day, I will also not be functioning at work.
Yeah.
And so that was really the best decision we did. And yeah, it was really good.
So true. Yeah, you're bringing it back to the going with the flow, because like my experience was that there was like a lot of expectations, like what kind of mom, how would the maternity be, how will the return to work be, how will partnership be, co-parenting, etc., etc. But then in reality, most of that never goes to plan. So if we, like you said, if we push for something just because this is what we plan, what we decided to do, but it doesn't work,
exactly.
no point. It makes your life much harder.
And
like even with the second one, like Lucas is very easygoing with other people. Putting him in daycare was never a problem. He loves going to school. He does his thing. Liam doesn't like people. He took 3 months to get used to daycare. There's still days where he's just, I bring, they wear uniform here, and even in nursery. I bring the uniform down, he will just fall apart. But it's his personality. Like we stopped swimming class because he just doesn't want to go with a person. He wants to be with me. And that's also a challenge. Like I was so used, like these kind of things were easy with Lucas. There were obviously other challenges, but all that activity, going around, doing stuff, having him with people was never a problem. With Liam, even going to the supermarket, I mean, now he's a bit better, but I think it's also fault of Corona and being confined his first like 2 years of his life. He was like so scared of people. But if someone walks up to him, he's literally runs away crying. This is so different. It makes it's like different challenges, and I'm curious how you will feel about the different characters, because again, like, born from the same mom, raised by the same parents in the same environment, but they can turn out so differently.
I think that's the big challenge. Also the excitement to see what kind of personality comes out of them, how different they will be. I mean, I also see that with my sister, and I still like I see it from my parents, how they raised us individually, and also like guided us individually, that we go our path. And that's something also like what you just described is something also I want for of both of them, that we see their character and that we guide them how they will develop in the right way. And everyone is different, but it will be super exciting to see also how she will be. And I hope a little bit easier, fingers crossed.
Exactly. Hopefully not those 3 months.
I was screaming. Oh man,
screaming. That's tough. Lucas was also quite difficult in the beginning, and again, Liam was not. Liam was sleeping quite easily. Okay, breastfeeding didn't work, but was happy with his bottle. Going on to solids, easy peasy. With Lucas, these kind of things were a challenge. So it's always
I still remember
you've got to learn the whole parenting book again, because you know, like what you kind of figured out with the first one may absolutely not apply to the second one. You're like, okay, now I've got to find a different way. Again, going with the flow and seeing what works and what doesn't work. So this is probably the story of parenting, isn't it?
Absolutely. I remember from a very good friend of mine, she her daughter is 3 months older than Azan, and she was always like, we were in the first month just voice messaging back and forth when she was in Berlin that time, and she's like, where is this manual for these raising a child? So I'm like, I guess we have to get through this, and
you have to create your own manual. That's it. And even if you read all the parenting books on the planet, again, like what works for one child does not work for the other child, or what works for one mom doesn't work for the other mom. So I think it's really like trial and error, and going with your gut feeling often as well. Like, you think this is the right thing, just try it, and not necessarily listening to everyone else's advice. I mean, like, mom-in-law is always big on advice, like, should be done like this, you should try that, give him this. Like, I don't know. No, I'll try this first, and then maybe I'll consider. So it's, like, that's our superpower as well as moms. We've got intuition, and we just trust that.
Absolutely. And I think it's I think that's what you learn, and now even like I remember the first flu and how crazy we both were, Rehan and myself, about, okay, what we do and
So
everything.
worried. Yeah.
And now it's like, oh, we think a flu is coming. Okay, here we go. Do. And we have all of our recipes right there. And then it sometimes doesn't even come out. So we're like,
Yeah.
okay, that's done. And so this is also like, okay, one part, the relaxation. I think I'm not ready yet for when kids are climbing and they're falling and they break, hopefully not break themselves,
No.
but they're coming home with blood or something. I'm like, okay, I'm not ready for this. So
Yeah.
he's too small for that,
That's
but then
a different level. That's what I'm seeing with Lucas now. That because he's 7, he thinks he can do everything, and sometimes he can't. And then yeah, there were a few incidents where it was a bit scary and yeah, hospital looming and kind of thing. So yeah, it's not. And then the second one thinks they can do the same thing. Like Liam just follows his big brother, obviously.
Yeah.
And you're like,
oh yeah,
you're only 2. You're not even 3. You cannot climb up there.
Nice, wonderful.
Exactly. So definitely prepare yourself for that. The second one will think she is already 5 years old when she's 1.
Super. I'm looking forward to it.
Exactly. Well, cool. Thank you so much. It was lovely to chat with you.
Super. Thank you. Really nice. Always love to talk to you.